In 1976 till April Fool Day of '80, when they almost killed me, it's how. I wrote a book about mind control, about programming people, modifying their behavior, and without their knowledge. You can program them to kill. This whole facade about saying they can't make you do things you don't want to do is a total lie. And people buy it. It's much more convenient. But anyway, unless, like one of the FBI agents said to me, he pretended he was bored and yawning. He says, "You, it's only when they find out how it affects them." Well, he said that. He said you bore them with what you're telling. It's only when they find out how it affects them that they care. So I'm just going to start on this a little bit. After April Fool Day of '80, I've put this on here. I'm not going to tell what they did to me in the next April Fool Day until I was illegally taken across the state line. On the Easter was on Sunday was the 6th of April, and I was stuffed in the line of Dempsey's car and taken across the state line back to Huntsville, Alabama, against my will, begging to go to my children and what used to be my apartment, till they allowed it to be taken over by an ex-husband illegally. And this is with a letter from the FBI, from Harper, U.S. District Attorney Harper, and Baker, James Baker. So about an ongoing investigation, national security involved. And I thought it was the book with the doctors and the cases in the book and the connections. So I'm just going to go to this. On April Fool Day, I should have died. I went for a tox screen, and instead of that, it was a fiasco of hell, and I really should have died. A British lady saved my life. I didn't know then about being kidnapped and my real name. I didn't know that till '83, late '83, and the Brits told me. Now, I was dropped off in Moulton, Alabama, pigsty, and this is in no way indicative of, this is made in '43. I was put there in '41 at age 2. Let me tell you something, it's been hell every moment of it because of who I am. Framed just like they framed my father. This woman had twins, Peggy and Carl Dempsey, out of wedlock. They were even older, and I'm going to tell you how blatant it's been. They even, the birth certificates of the twins, when I got them, because I still have to use that name. I can't use my real name. The state of Alabama, because it didn't jive with the birth dates they gave me, the twins were older than me. I mean, it's so blatant, it's like, who's going to touch it? They marked through the date of birth on the twins and inserted the one given me. And there were other errors on there. I've forgotten what it was, and it says right on there, this is used for passport. It's a legal document, and this can't be altered. Well, it was, and like everything else, nobody's done anything about it. So this was made in '43, and I wanted to focus on this woman. The family covered it up. I found that out after I had this endorsement I'd run in a campaign in '83. Still in the condition, you don't get over what they'd done to me. It's what this woman, Dempsey, I was doing the book about mind control, and there's when I'd made her a living, let me say that, and Phillips, and I loved him. I thought he was a brother, or a half-brother, but anyway, Lana took me across the state line, that woman, and me begging, and the condition I was in, what they'd done to me, and she tried to have me killed again. Is how she tried to have me killed. She was afraid if the book, everybody wanted the book shut up, and I thought it was because of the book. Because she was afraid if the book was published that it would focus on me and people would know my real name and about her killing her twins and the crimes she committed. So I was flown out to Larry Flint's in '83 in a campaign, and Mr. Flint had been shot and his attorney killed in Lawrenceville. March the 6th of 78, and this tape's going to run out before I get to the point. And then he did this was in April of 84. And the person was programmed to shoot him. So there is the programming. And my father was never married to Wallace Simpson. My father's Edward VIII. He was illegally taken down. My father was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, the sister to artist George O'Keefe. So the whole thing about Wallace Simpson was nothing but a lie. She married an imposter. Now I wanted to focus on Dempsey. I haven't committed a crime. It has been systematic. I've told who kidnapped me, who got in on the original kidnapping of me and taking out my dad and all that. Brought me over to this country and put me here. Now I want to focus on this woman. She was diagnosed by Dr. Kenneth Reagan as a psychopath. It's how she killed the twins. Family covered it up, her mother, the whole bunch of them. I'm going to jump to, she was put on disability that I'm aware of, and she continued working and drawing money for doing like a companion aid. She was with Senator John Sparkman from Huntsville, U.S. Senator, who helped in the Knew Who I Am, helped in the money that rolled in, and money came in different things. Scientists like Werner von Braun, deals made to keep me alive. NASA began and all that. It's all the treaties after they kidnapped me and took out my dad in about 1940, 39. But to focus back here and tell you, and it's not going to go up, I know. Lina Dempsey continued to work, and what that family did to me is so sick it's unreal. This is Annie Carter. Dempsey Carter, Ezra Carter. She was a teacher in Kentucky, Carlisle. She worked at Lexington Military Academy. So I hadn't seen her in a long time, and I'd been put on the street after I worked for the district attorney in 80, and all this happened. And I'd gotten a background check by the sheriff then, Patterson. And later that turns they got to him, and he sided with her. I didn't know about being kidnapped, remember, and my real name. So anyway, I go up there the first time. I'd found out then I had a car that Larry Flint leased for me for a year, and then I never saw him again. But I went up there, and I had the endorsement and the car, so it looked like I had protection. So I went there, and thank God the sheriff there in Carlisle and in Paris were nice, honest, doing their job. But anyway, she confessed then, when I had the hustler and running the campaign and all, she confessed that the family knew who I am, the twins were murdered, and her mother had told them to cover it up or Lionel would face the death penalty. So they had. And she said her mother was in heaven and she was going to do what her mother had asked them to do. So they all knew it. This whole family did. So now that I'm up there and I leave, and when I go back, it's in 85. I no longer had the hustler car. I had been put out on the street again, literally. So I go back and have a place to stay, and it turned into a nightmare. And so I'm going to jump that. I really wanted to get into this, the bit about Lina. First of all, while I was up there, Annie, the last time, and now then I'm on the street and have no place to go, and she figures, well, Larry Flint's gone, what the hell, nothing's going to, save her, so I can jump in and beat her up now, too. So anyway, you can't even tell the mess. This is just a date out of it. I've forgotten, quite frankly, at the moment what I was going to say. It was so much that went on. But anyway, I ended up back in Huntsville. Again, no place to go. And you really can't tell it. I started out, I was going to tell and give a background on it. Oh, yeah. While I was up there the last time, she started saying things to me, well, and I'm locked in there. I'm way out in the country, no car, no way to get out. But